it's something that we don't have at the moment, but it's on the table, and I know it's coming. So
it's coming. It's coming. A lot of us are talking with everyone on how we can, when we come on the other side of this, something to help all of our partners hit a home run, and it's getting to that point, right? I think of these as like good, better, best, right? So you got next day, same day, instant, but really when you look at it, it's like excellent, phenomenal, unbelievable, right? Gosh, like 10 years ago, it was 2-day, 3-day funding, and that was it. And everyone was just used to it. Now it's next day. To hear that, same day and instant funding is something that we're going to have available, that merchants are going to start getting and partners are going to start getting, it's unbelievable. It's kind of hard to fathom that we're at this point with the technology and everything. But, next day funding, everybody knows, batch out at a certain time, get the money deposited the next business day. Same day funding, which is obviously, insanely cool, but they've got to batch out probably a little bit earlier to get those funds available in their account before the end of the business day, right? So it's like batch out by 4 p.m. to have money deposited by 6 p.m., something like that. And then you get instant, and instant, Nate, I think, was it Square that first started doing the instant, where they would pay like, I think it's 1% merchants could pay to get to push a button to get instant. I think it was Square.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to have as well here in the very near future. And it's like, press this button, pay an extra percentage on the total amount, instantly get your money. Like literally press this button, I'll pull up your bank account and you're going to see the pending deposit. So it's just, it's tough for all of us to fathom, I think, that have been in this industry. But can we imagine, especially how fragile everything is right now, as we come through this on the other side of it? We get into May, we get into June, things are opening back up, and we're starting to feel it getting back to normal. Still a fragile time, and what's most fragile is merchants getting their money, right? They're trying to build their business back up. So if we have these tools like this to say, look, you're going to get your money same day, or you're going to get your money, or have the option to get your money immediately, it's unbelievable, and I can't wait for us to have it. And it's on the near horizon. I don't have an ETA on it yet, but it's close. So
a game changer for sure.
Game changer.
And it's going to be how industry, and we're not the only ones doing it. And like you mentioned, Square's been doing instant funding, and we've seen that. And it's running on the same rails. I would use Venmo as if you've used Venmo.
Yep.
When somebody sends you money, you say $100. They say you can ACH this for no cost, and it'll show up in your bank account the next day or the day after. For me, it's always, if I do it by like 7 p.m., I get it the next morning. It's just $100 is $100. But if I want it that moment in my bank account, so I can use my debit card with that, I can pay up to 1%, and they cap it at $10. And so, for that $100, I'd pay $1 for them to move that money, and they're just using the debit rails to be able to do that. Basically, they're posting a credit on the debit card. We're going to be doing the exact same thing using those same rails, and it's going to cost a little extra. So the question we're going to have to propose to the merchant is, there are going to be times that you want to do, just take the next day funding, which is just free, or you're going to do the same day funding, which may have a little additional cost, or when you need to do instant cost, it's the cost of moving money. And there are times where it's right and times when it's not, but having that opportunity to do that, that's going to be the huge game changer, and we're pushing for all that to happen as fast, because the banks are moving, and there's lots of moving parts to make that happen. But I think it's going to be a game changer, especially in this industry, as people get going back up, when suddenly we don't want to have 6 weeks of inventory sitting on. We want to be, we want to move just like Honda created, or Toyota created the just-in-time mentality of manufacturing. I think that's going to become more the just-in-time retail, the just-in-time hospitality, and make sure, and that's going to play into, hey, we don't want to put stuff on credit. We just want to be able to pull our money that we made yesterday and put it into today, so that we are moving forward and we are using our cash the best way. Brian, how are you going to pitch this to your merchants when this all rolls out and they can do instant and same day funding?
Well, it's a great question, and here's the thing. I think we're talking all about the merchant and what the merchant can do. What the merchant, I think it's another thing for our partners who are listening. It's just another bullet in the gun, right? I mean, it's just another thing that you can talk about. Whether your merchant, is even though they're not going to be interested in the 1%, whatever it is, I just think it's another thing to talk about. And the more things that we have to talk about, I just think it's just better. So yeah, I mean, am I going to propose it to my absolutely. Just because it's whenever you're talking about something good, right, something exciting, I think it's just something that yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see what the instant funding looks like. I didn't even know that was a thing until Danny and I talked about it this morning. But but yeah, the same day funding. I know we talked about it when we were down in Florida, a few months ago. So I'm excited about seeing that. So yeah, again, it's just something else that you can talk to your merchants about, and I think it's something that our partners can be excited about.
Well, it's just another example of why this industry is so exciting to be part of, because it's always evolving. It's evolving faster as much as any other industry is out there. And there's always something new to go to a merchant group and say, hey, do you have this? Whether it's a hardware, or software technology, or simply a funding technology where we're working with the banks and finally we're saying, hey, that money you collect, because you imagine when this all started, people didn't take credit cards because it took weeks for them to get their money. And you take the DoorDashes and the all these places when you do third parties, one of the big complaints, not only are they taking a big chunk, but it takes 7 days for they to get their funding. Mr. Person, if you can, and there's going to be some qualifying, it's not going to be 100%, but Mr. Restaurant, if you take 10 orders on our online ordering system and you do 30 orders in location with your things, and and all those batches, you can hit a little button and you can have that money right now, so you can buy your product at 9 o'clock the night for the next day. And so you don't have to actually float and put it on your credit card, or you can actually pay your employees on a time. And this is going to have some pieces, because I think we're going to see, as people need to get back up and going, they're going to need to, some of their employees are going to be like, hey, can you pay me today? I can't wait on a two-week payroll cycle. And there's going to be some times where we're going to need to figure out ways to move money a little faster and not always live on credit, because I certainly don't like us all living on credit. And encourage us to do this. So it's going to give us options. And that's why this industry is so fun, because we're giving options to the merchants